everybody.
All right, particularly packed room today. I wonder why. Although we thought you guys needed a little treat, a little jolt, so we brought Megan Rapinoe today. So you're welcome.
Say something fucking crazy. Just kidding.
That's what the media loves.
Yeah, that's what you love. Life's like, oh my God, what have I done?
Rapinoe, Jackie Gutierrez, Women Kickballs. Not to sound like a stalker, but I've seen your family at games, and they just seem so excited. And so when you think about just your support system, how would you describe just how your family, your friends have really shaped you into the person and player that you are today?
Yeah, the friends and family are like just glorified super fans with like all access passes, basically. They're the same as all the other super fans. They just can have access to us. I mean, I think that obviously about my family, but just everyone's family here. We always, travel so well, as a sort of supporters group in the U.S., but like our family in general, our families and friends in general always travel really well. Makes it feel like home. It's something that all of us have had our entire lives. It seems like every player, has that really strong support system around them. I know I do. I got a bunch of people here this time and more people coming, hopefully as the tournament progresses. And it's just nice. I think it takes you like out of the moment a little bit as well. And just get your mind off of things a little bit. It's nice to have that little bit of break and that little bit of, peace of home and that kind of comfort. And then obviously, they're going to like rock hard for you when the game comes.
Let's go Kevin, then Steve, then Lake, and then JT.
Well, and Megan, Kevin Baxter, late times. You announced your retirement. I'm sure you remember that. And so I'm wondering, we're all struggling to try to decide what your legacy is. What do you think your legacy will be?
That's why you have a job. Well, I'm not going to do your job for you. I don't know. I mean, I think, again, that's what other people want to write about it. I mean, I think for myself, I've always tried to play the game the right way and to go about things the right way. I've always tried to use whatever platform we have, and this platform obviously was built long before I got here, and we just continued to add to it to, grow the game, to make the world a better place, to use our voices to, advocate for more. I think being a women's professional athlete, we sort of know what the injustices are, at least that we have felt, and so I think it makes it easy for us to then be an ally in other ways. I think that's like the real legacy. I think the most important legacy of this team, at least. And then of course we've been able to do something really special, which is couple that with being incredibly successful over a long period of time. So I don't know exactly what all of that means to everyone, but I think for me, I know that I will walk away with, from the game having gotten everything out of it that I possibly could and enjoyed every moment and celebrated and fought and kind of just laid it all out there.
Steve
Goff from the Washington Post. Mm-hmm. Megan, were you surprised you didn't get into the game the other day, given all the circumstances? And what's your general feel about what your contribution is going to be over the next, hopefully, couple of weeks?
Well, I'm always shocked when I don't play, Steve, of course. No, I mean, I think all of us on the bench, it's like we think we should be on the field as much as the players on the field think that they should be on the field. Every player on the field that starts the game thinks that they should play 90 minutes, and every player who doesn't, who's a sub, thinks that they should be on at some point. That's, not our job to do that. We're always ready, and we always want to stay ready. We know at some point during this tournament, obviously, the bench will be huge. That's a huge asset of ours. A huge reason why we've been so successful with this group, but obviously historically, winning championships in our past. So I think for me, the conversations that I've had with Lacko just in general, when the time is right and, the situation in the game is ready, that I'll be ready. I think I could have helped, but I think Lynn could have helped, and I think Trinity was helping, and I think Soph was helping, and we had chances, and it was right there for us. I don't think that, it was like, oh, the players on the field didn't do their job. I think that they were giving everything and still creating chances up to the very end, and just wasn't able to get that last goal. But for us, it's on to Portugal and have a chance to still go top the group and get into the best part of the tournament.
Lakin.
Lakin Lippman, Fox Sports. Hi, Megan. There was so much talk leading up to this tournament about how your role was changing and what that was going to look like. Now that you're in it, what has that looked like? Has it been what you expected? Why or why not?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty much what I've been expecting. I think, for Kelly, I think it's a lot the same. We have even some players like, Lynn or Christy who haven't necessarily been at a World Cup before. We just have such experience on the bench and such a calm. And I think that's our job. That's our job to, use everything that I've seen over the last however many years, go in the locker room at halftime, be like, this is what we see, try to make adjustments, try to, give that energy from the bench. And then I think just, bringing that experience, whether that's knowing that, on the day after the game, the subs always train. Like, it's hard, but that's also our only chance to really train. So it's like, hey, you guys, like, let's have fun. Let's, you cry in your shower or you cry with your friends in the sauna, and then you come out to training and you bust ass and you have fun and you make the best of it. Ultimately, we're like at the World Cup. This is where everybody wants to be, whether you're, playing 90 minutes or whether you're a game changer or whatever. So I think it's a lot similar to what I thought it would be, bringing all the experience that I can and all the experience that I have and, ultimately being ready whenever my number's called up.
We're going to go JT, then Jeff, then Doug, then Nancy, then Ann, then Henry.
I'll leave it to you to remember all that.
Oh,
He's pimping me out.
Sorry,
My goodness.
Kasuf.
Look at all these questions.
I don't know if we'll get to everybody. We'll see how the questions go. JT.
Thanks, sir. Hi, Megan. Does this moment feel like 2015 at all, where the first two games of that tournament were not quite up to what you guys had hoped they would be? And if so, what are your memories of that, and what do you tell the younger folks about what this situation going into now, where I dare say you have to run up the score, pardon the words, on Portugal a bit?
I think being on the U.S. men's national team, it kind of always feels like this. Like, when was the last time anybody wrote a headline? It's like, they played the best game and that's exactly what we were expecting them to. No. Like, when you're at the top, like, you're always looking to get better. That would be you guys not doing your job, and that would be us not doing our job if we're like, no, played great, doing everything we're supposed to be doing. So it kind of feels like that all the time. There's always things that we want to work on. There's always, tactically things or technical mistakes or, game plan or scout wise that we want to be better. Obviously if we would have won last game, we would have, clinched the group and been through already, but whatever. I mean, it's like, this is the tournament. This is what it means. This is the pressure of being, the number one team in a World Cup, but this is just the pressure in general being at the World Cup. Like, this moment is going to come no matter what. So it's not a bad thing, I don't think, for everyone to be like, okay, let's strap in and get ready for this game, knowing that, not only the result, but the performance needs to be there. And I think we knew too that we were going to have to build into the tournament a little bit. It's different to a lot of other years where we've had a consistent group in the whole time. We've had players coming back from injury. We've had different lineups. We've had, players playing with a lot of different people around them and not having that consistency. So I don't think this is anything that anybody was really worried about, but I think it was something that we knew that we were going to have to build into the tournament and just understand that's where we are. And I think for me, I'm excited. You have a must perform, sort of must win type of game. I mean, I'm sure we could I don't know all the scenarios, you guys know that, but it's like a pressure moment, and that's what the tournament is now. Every single game from here on out is that pressure moment, and that's the best part of being at the World Cup.
Megan, over here, Jeff Carlisle with ESPN. Just piggybacking on that a little bit, what's the mood in the team, and what have your conversations with your teammates been, given that you have to at least get a draw to guarantee advancement? And just, you talked about the pressure just now, but wonder if you could expand on that just a tad.
I think, of course, there's a little bit of anxiousness anytime there's, a result that needs to be had that has a little bit of feeling to it. But I think that's exciting. I think everybody knows that too. Everybody's like, okay, we have to perform better and we have to get this result. I mean, I think that is something that just always gets passed down through the generations of this team is like, no, we go into these moments like, hell yeah, this is exactly where we want to be. This is, you could feel it in the second half even of the game against the Netherlands of like, that it's coming. So I think for us, we're excited. We're unsatisfied with the way that we've played, but we know the areas that we can be better. And I think there's some really simple fixes that we can do to put ourselves in a better position to have more joy on the ball, especially in the final third. And I think everybody's looking at this like, let's go.
Up front here.
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. Megan, we've seen in this tournament debutantes winning games that maybe are a lot closer than anybody would have expected. There haven't really been a lot of blowouts. What does that say about the state of the game, and how good do you feel walking away when you see a tournament like this?
I mean, it's just so good. All the games are amazing. I think the best teams are playing well. Teams that maybe people haven't been following are playing really well. The level is super high. Players are scoring goals in exciting moments, scoring great goals. Like, I think just in general, the level of football being played right now in the women's game is incredible. I think that I'm not surprised by that, and I think probably most people in this room aren't surprised by that. The ones who are a little late to the party maybe are, but I think, I said before the tournament, like, I don't think we have to go out and prove anything as the players. Like, just come and watch the show because we already knew it was going to be amazing. I think this is obviously sort of zooming out, something that all the leagues around the world can really build on and, kind of draft off sort of moving forward after the tournament. Like, you just know it's going to be great. This last round of games is going to be great. Each knockout round is going to be great. Teams are prepared physically to be able to sustain the kind of level that you need for excellent performances. And I think that's something that is huge. You're going to get the best out of everybody every round going forward. And, to us, it's really no surprise. Obviously, we've been very well funded and well supported for a long time. And that's why we've been able to have those excellent performances in game, 5, 6, 7 of the tournament in the 120th minute and whatever it is. So I think for us, we're not surprised. I think all the players should feel an immense sense of pride about the quality of the tournament and about us backing up everything that we've said about ourselves. I think, just in general, we've had to bet on ourselves so much, and we hit every time.
Ann? Oh, sorry.
Either one. It's all good.
Rochambeau,
Next.
and then we'll figure out.
Go ahead, next.
Go ahead and then Ann.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Hi, Megan. Doug McIntyre, Fox Sports. You mentioned the history of this team passing things down. There's a history of the player that was like the superstar at a previous World Cup taking on a supporting role. The next one we saw Abby do in 2015. Mm-hmm. You saw Carly do it 4 years ago. I mean, how much has that sort of inspired you to sort of fill the same role here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think for me, and I think for those players too, it's like you can still play at an extremely high level. You can still keep a really high standard. You still have a lot to offer both on the field and off the field. And maybe you're not going to be a starter or, playing 90 minutes or playing the bulk of the games. But, sometimes the bench players, that's not what you need. You need the 20 minutes in 2 games that wins the team the tournament or wins the team a game and gets to the next round. So I think for me, those two have been, an amazing example of being able to transition in that role and wanting to do that and being willing to do that while also not just being like, oh, yeah, you guys, like, go ahead. Like, still every day in training, I'm like, I'm going to try to bust your ass, and that makes them better. That makes me better. That makes the whole team better. So I think it's been really rewarding. And I think ultimately, like, sometimes I think this gets lost, but I get to play in another World Cup. I get to be in another situation to compete for a championship. And I think as an elite athlete and as an elite soccer player, like, that's the point. You don't want to play in meaningless games. You don't want to just like play in friendlies or, not compete for championships. I mean, even at home, I think playing for the Reign and being able to be on a team that's contending for a championship every year is what keeps you there. I'm not sure I'm playing for a team that is really bad and at the bottom of the table. That would be really difficult. It's like these moments are the moments that you chase. And whether you're on the field or, behind the goal in the last game, banging on the thing, cheering for everyone, like that's the moment that you're chasing.
Annie Peterson from Associated Press. Last World Cup, are you taking time to kind of savor the moment more so than, the last 3 World Cups that you've been to?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think it's hard not to, have those sort of moments of reflection. I'm trying to stay present as much as possible, but, cause I just want to fucking win too. I'm like, oh yeah, last World Cup, great. And I'm like, no, it's awesome when you win, not when you don't win. Even if you get to the final and you lose, I'm like, well, that wasn't that fun. But you want to win, you want to be in that, but also it is really special being here with my family, having Sue here, being with my teammates who, some I've played with for a long time, some are brand new, just being able to have a different kind of experience. I'm kind of trying to straddle sort of both realities of, taking everything in and realizing this is one of the most special things I'll ever do. But also just being very much in the moment and doing, whatever it is that's necessary or whatever it takes to, win another championship.
Last one for the dais for Mr. Bushnell.
Henry Bushnell from Yahoo Sports. Megan, we all saw what Lindsay did in the Dutch game. I'm wondering if you can take us a bit more to the day-to-day behind the scenes. How have you seen her take on the captain's role since she kind of stepped into it in Becky's absence? And maybe even more generally, how have you seen her grow over the past few years, maybe past 4 years?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. The second part of your question, I think it's been happening over time, and something that I think us older players have really made a point to do is try to give the blueprint and bring people along in real time. Oftentimes it happens where the leaders or the captains on the team just retire and they're gone, and it's the team just sort of moves on and it's hard. So I think, Becky's done an incredible job of being that leader for everyone and someone, who everyone can look to. But I think Lindsay stepped into it really well. I think she's, taking on more responsibility, reaching out to players more, understanding she's going to be the one that has to go talk to Flacco. She's going to be the one that has to address the team. She's going to be the one that has to score the goal and, put the team on her back. And I often say, the leaders have to be the shield for everyone. There's no reason that, bullets should hit anyone behind. You got to be the one that can take on more and handle more in those pressure moments. And I think her experience being here before and just taking on more even in her club environment has prepared her really well to be able to step into a game like that where it's tough. We have to score. She's getting into a little spat, and just to have that that kind of bravado, I think, in that moment is really important for the team. Now the team's don't fuck with her, don't get her mad. Now other teams know that as well. So it's you get that sense of swagger going as well. And I think that helps in her leadership also. But I think just within the group, you can tell she's constantly making sure and understanding that it is her job to make sure that everything is going right.
All righty, come on up.